Surprise! If you're logging in live, then the original air date is Monday, I want to say August the 11th, 2025, approximately 4:44, 444, Central Standard Time. Interesting. 444. That's all about foundation. That's all about home. That's all about family life, marriage, stability, safety and security, origins. Okay. I think the title says something like, think about it, just think about it. And then there's like hashtag 70s, hashtag Hollywood, hashtag sports industry, hashtag poverty, hashtag ghetto, hashtag all those things, right? And it says, think about it, 70s. So we're just going to have a little bit of story time. And I invite y'all to do the same because, see, what a lot of us are discovering the latter half of our lives, like late, you know, is that some of us aren't who we were told we are. We are not, we don't come from where we were told we came from. A lot of us, okay, we're discovering that. And the reason why I said think about it, I'm really talking about the old generation because, again, though I'm sure there's similar things that are happening in 2025, it's much more involved, invasive, and very challenging to do. Okay? And that's because of the world. Everybody's got an iPhone. Okay? There's too much freaking technology. Okay? At everyone's disposal. So you ain't finna just do no swappy switchy shit real quick. You know, it ain't gonna be that simple. You ain't finna just damage control your life choices and mistakes away by throwing babies in the garbage can, or you know what I'm saying. You're not. It ain't finna be like that. It ain't gonna be that easy in 2025. Now, the reason why somebody's gonna say, "What the hell?" I already know where this is going. Somebody gonna go and say, "The bitch was down here, the earth." She got Diana Ross. Look at her. Now, by the way, this is. Let me do my legalese. I'll say it this way. This is story time. This is just for the purposes for pondering and reflecting on possibilities. So these are just examples. And I have to say that because, see, when you're dealing with this type of stuff in these industries and so forth, this is why you have a lot of gossip columnists and so many people that are, you know, e-entertainment and so forth. You know, they get all these slapped with lawsuits because, again, if you're going to be staking claim, you better have some goddamn proof and some backup, okay? Or they're going to come for you. For some of y'all, they be like, they can come on, I ain't going to get shit. But all jokes aside, I'm responsible to do that as a content creator, okay? But I am equally responsible to provoke thought. I was born in the 70s. At least so I'm told. Anyway, I was born in the 70s. Nigga. Hey, just because you came of age and somebody handed you a piece of paper. See, you see how, let's play with this, y'all. You see how programmed we actually are? We got of a certain age, and whoever was our caretakers at that said time gave us what? Certain information and or certain documentation, did they not? In the olden days, This is something very easy to do, my friend Watson. Hell, I know motherfuckers today that can professionally fucking Shanna. But I'm just saying, it was harder. I mean, it was easier back then, a lot less complexities involved, especially if you had the right money and the right muscle. You're looking at Diana Ross. Beautiful. I've always loved her, amongst many other entertainers, okay? Um, but look at her. Look at her face. Look at her features. Still love her. I have no qualms. Look at her again. Look at her face. Look at her features. Look at her eyes. Look at her nose. Look at her lips. Okay, let's fast forward in time. It was not uncommon. See, and this is not to what I'm about to say in this story time is by no means meant we all got a story. So it's by no means meant to shame youngsters because I mean they were and they were young too at some point. Huh? It ain't just in 2025 that you have the African American culture wanting to get out of the ghetto, wanting to become a star, wanting something more, wanting to utilize their talents and make it big in some cases by all means and at all cost. Beyond that, they're human. They have wants, needs, and desires, strengths, weaknesses, like everybody else. They go through, you know, phases. It doesn't matter that they just so happen to be, young and famous. It doesn't matter. That's it doesn't matter. Look at her ears. When you're young, you know, and you're trying to get in the industry or you're in the industry, maybe you're already in the industry and whoop, and you run, shit, you roll. Come on, y'all, don't play with me. You roll in certain circles, huh? With the sports industry, huh? With other entertainers, come on now, don't play. And things happen. The same issues that we face, folks that don't nobody know our name, you know what I'm saying? The shit that we experience in this human existence, especially, I happen to believe that no matter what, we all come with some level of junk, period, point blank, the end. Something, honey. And so for the African American culture, you already know what I feel in terms of what I believed we inherited on an epigenetic level. due to slavery. So our sexuality is exploited. It's a beautiful thing, but paired with trauma, sexuality is a beautiful thing paired with trauma. There's your exploitation. Paired with young, paired with trauma, paired with unresolved mama daddy issues, paired with I'm trying to make it big, paired with this is this is the nightlife, this is fun and exciting, the environment. That's shit, nigga. Breeding ground for hold 'em. No qualms. We all have a story. It's not uncommon. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not singling her out in that respect in terms of, you know, anything that she could have done in her early years or whatever, because who haven't, you know? What I'm saying is it's not uncommon for a lot of these folks in the 70s to have had affairs that was inconvenient for their marriages and inconvenient for the directions in which they were going. In some cases, if it was people that were up and coming and they were committed to someone else, that was inconvenient. In some cases, if there was an affair with someone else in the industry and they were dating someone else once again, that was inconvenient. And could, back then, it's like this couldn't, make this go away. This is not fitting. This was an affair. This was on a road. This is, this was not, it wasn't supposed to happen. Even if they were in love, like in some cases, you always got stories like Love Child and, where it's like, but it's just taboo, and it wasn't the person's husband or the person's wife, and this would have been an embarrassment and would have caused you know how this goes. It wasn't fitting. It wasn't uncommon. Look at that face. And it's a signature smile. There's certain things to look at. Now, she may have been into sports. There's Muhammad Ali. Another boxer. I love. He was something else. I get it. Somebody will say he was, but I loved him. Huh? And then, you know what I'm saying, when he became, I'm just saying, oh yeah. And I know he was fine in his day too. But there she is, okay? And look, this ain't hate, so let's not go here. Okay, she's a beautiful, famous woman, huh? And singing and shit. And modeling, I believe. I think she may have. I gotta confirm that. She might have in her early years before she broke off into her, the singing and acting. Now look at his. There are certain features about him to pay attention to as well. Certain signatures. Forehead. Certain things. There's certain things. So she was really thin. She didn't pick up weight till late in life. Interesting. Now, bear with me. Again, this is just to ponder, provoke thought. We assume so much, we swallow so much. A lot of us think we're like woke and logical, but we are quite programmed. One day we were here, and then people gave us a piece of paper. Okay. And we believed, because we trusted the environments that we came up in. We trusted that they were, decent, integral. I'm going to show you all something else here. Just bear with me. Let's see if that one. This is something to think about, something to reflect on. Just bear with me. I'm scrolling through here because there's certain ones that I want to share. And some stuff gonna make a whole lot of sense for some of us. It's gonna take us a minute though. And that's okay. Now I'm going to show you, if I can find one, the man that I grew up to know as my father. Okay. All right, and so I'm going to pull up at least the ones that I can access. I can't access everything here. So I'm going to pull up some of my old photos. I wish the one that came to my mind was there's two. When I was a little girl, where I grew up, it was with whom I believed to be my maternal grandmother and elder sister. We were little. I was maybe 6, 5. And it was in the living room. Oh God, it was old. It was in the living room in front of this old ass stereo. It was brown. Oh gosh, that's bringing me. Anyway, we were standing in front of one of the main living room windows that was facing the street that we grew up on, and I had a signature. There was an expression. There was a smile that looks very similar to somebody's. Another photo is when I was a little girl, and I was sitting in like this little kid's or like little kid's chair or something like that, with my legs crossed, because I was something else. But once again, I had this signature smile up until, they start tormenting me with entities, huh? That's another video. There's a signature. Pay attention to. And this is what came to my mind. I'm like, what the hell is that? Now, like I said, I'm going to share some olden pictures that I do have. And they're not, they're old in the sense of they're all 2000, but hell, we're in 2025. So that's old. One of the oldest ones here is 2008, 7. I don't know if you can really see it here. Mm-hmm. Okay. Some, it's like you can see more than others. And then different years and seasons, of course, I went through different phases, different looks, different hairstyles, weight, age, all those things adjusting and changing. But pay attention. Okay, now I'll go here. Okay, even there, even though it's like, okay, that's plain face me, no makeup deal, okay? Hmm. And then now let's go back. Hmm. Mm, mm, mm. Stuff is making a whole lot more sense. Hmm. Now let me go. I think I'm done with that. So I don't have all the, I have to, I don't have all the access here on my YouTube. There's other photos I wanted to bring up, but for yourself, okay? If this is something that's on your mind and you have whole lots of information and reasons to believe, there's foul play as it pertains to your origins. And then, if you're discovering like it seems like all these people have been watching you and after you, and you thought you were paranoid for a very long time, and people make sure to make you think that and believe that. Um, this is some of the things, like give yourself permission to ponder it, okay? Look into it. And it's going to take you down a rabbit hole, and it may not feel all that great, okay? Um, and, because again, that basically, if something like that happened to you, which is it's not as uncommon as people trying to make it seem, right? It's really not, especially if you are someone born in the 70s, and further back. It's not uncommon. Some of us may even wonder, like, where did we get certain charisma from? Why is it that we um, love singing and dancing? Why is it that, some of us, we may reflect and look at it like, oh, yeah, I ain't not like that now. What is that? and you look at the events of your life, and then stuff just starts to go click, click, click. People looking at you eerily, and even before anything could even happen. See, as you reflect, it's one thing. Before anything could even happen to get people into an energy. You see what I'm saying? Long before anything that they stake false claim on. Some of us was, possibly, like I said, switched at birth or sacrifice, or, whatever. Switched or sacrificed, either way. Somebody needed to do some damage control. And somebody didn't have the full guts, because obviously we're here. So they just didn't have the full guts just to go ahead and throw us in the trash can, and pretend like it was some kind of birth problem. You could have tried. Some of us could have just fucking survived all kind of shit. But many of us, the expectation, life expectancy, it was never supposed to be a problem. We were never supposed to possibly live past a certain age due to all of the poverty. Due to all the poverty, all of the restrictions, all of the abuses, all of those scheduled setups. We were not supposed to survive. We were supposed to just end up either institutionalized in jail, institutionalized in mental facilities, and then vegetated states leading up to these tragedies they have scheduled. We were not supposed to ever align to, who we really are inside. We were never supposed to get any proofs or truths regarding where we grew up, who we grew up with, what they was really on, what they was really about, and what they really did. We were never supposed to survive some of these handlers in the form of romantic connections. We were supposed to get ricken with all sorts of shit, diseases. So it could like some unfortunate tragedy. Oh, isn't this true? This is just a tragedy. So everybody can not feel so bad. Out of sight, out of mind. And as the tragedy ensues, then that'll be what people will stick to and believe rather than the truth. We were never supposed to break past every obstacle, limitation, trap, poison, assault. We were never heartache was supposed to kill some of us, keep us in tragedy, endless deaths, fight, flight, or freeze. And it's at some point that was supposed to just gnaw, on top of whatever they've been doing to our children. Oh, I'm gonna have such a good time with this. I just so am. We were supposed to just be looked at as, oh, they're just these fickle, flighty, oh, they're just stressed out, they're special. So I'm special, all right. You're right. But I'm special in a way that terrifies you. And you know it. Because I see. straight through you. The whole entourage and the whole industry. That's why I have to be made out. And this is also why they abuse and torture to create mental health needles. See, that's the ignorance of humanity. What do people do in war? You know, all we got to do is, if we want to get real raw, just get raw, honest, and put our sacred cows down for a little bit. The art of war, government, military tactics, some of the stuff that, you know, we'll never really know about. But in terms of, you know, what do they do to break down who they perceive to be the enemy? And the enemy to them is anybody who ain't finna, anyway. How do they? What do you think they do? What do you think they do? It's a head fuck. That's a tactic. Crazy make psychological, mental warfare strategies using frequencies. See, technology, but they ain't gonna tell you, they ain't gonna say that to you. Get over it, humans. You think they're about to, you know, some stuff we got access to, you know, and this is coming out, like if you'll do your due diligence, there's some things that's hiding in plain sight that we do have access to if we want to. But we're so programmed and brainwashed and colonized, we just, trauma written, Stockholm syndrome. We just trying to figure out how we can come up on getting an Escalade. Yeah, I'm gonna need you to get past that. Oh, that's all a part of it. African American culture, we think we've come a long way, but we have not. We just shift, just like our oppressors. That's all we did. Many of us don't even realize it. That's what I said. It wasn't uncommon then, and it still ain't uncommon now. We see it in Hollywood today. Do we not? Do we not? Do we not hear? We ain't different. We shape-shifted. Many of us don't realize that because, like I said, the programming, the trauma, we've been wanting to be selected as a house slave. And I use that as terminology because the house slave gets more benefits. That's if we were to look in history and see what was being referenced when someone said a house slave versus a field slave. A house slave had way more benefits, way more comforts, way more access, way less beatings. They still are being psychologically and they still abused. They're getting more compensation for their willingness to bow as well as for their conformity and their blendability. Usually the house slaves were fair complexion, but the reason behind it was more to do with acclimating the blendability. But if you look at it just from an energetic or spiritual perspective, it's about the adaptability, the controllability, the blendability, the ass-kissery. For what? To get benefits. For what? To get less beatings. For what? To live inside versus outside in a hut or wherever the fuck, in the back garage, bitch, nigga, wherever. To get the finer things of life, at least so it seems on those terms in which where they were. Now, fast forward to now. Fast forward throughout the history and the progression of history. 70s. Shit, our asses are just barely coming. Now, come on now. '80s. '90s. And when I say '80s and '90s, I'm really talking about not being born in that time, but the stuff that was being done in those times when things were still a lot simpler to do. Everybody want to be a star. Everybody want to drive a fancy car. That ain't changed. The coven. These are cults and covens. What do y'all think about Hollywood? Do you really? Okay. 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 What do you think about the sports arena, the sports industry? You think they're an exception? People wanted to come out of the ghetto. People wanted to come out of poverty. People wanted, and guess what? There's nothing wrong. I'm not implying that it was ever anything wrong with dreaming and, you know, developing and going for the gusto, and that ain't what I'm implying. Because many can sense the greatness. They can sense it, because some are, you know, you can sense it like, I ain't no goddamn slave. I ain't supposed to be like this shit. And cultivated and developed their own skill sets and talents and made use of it, right? And that's a good thing. That is a good thing, or it's potentially, you know. However, the caveat is at what cost? Where's the fine line between I want to be something big and great and I am now a narcissist, sociopath, and I'm losing my humanity because I want to make it big? What am I willing to do? Treating human lives like a human junkyard. Pick 'em parts. Roll the dice. This does not fit into my American Dream package. We need somebody to fix this, please. It's a whole person. An innocent life, whole person. Don't know what the hell going on. Ain't did shit to nobody yet. And yet, subjected to the degenerates of this creation, of this world. Many of us had self-hatred. See, listen, honey, I know all too well. I know all too well about it. And in some cases, last thing folks wanted or needed was a full-fledged, a fully African American, a fully melanated, when they were partnered with folks that were not. Oh, we went through that in history. It's a thing. I'm sorry no, I'm not sorry. Cancel, delete that. Pardon me that it's inconvenient. To look at. Like I said, we want to be house nigga. And what makes you more likely to, come on. Now, you all know I'm multicultural, and I kind of always been that way. So for me, this is not me saying that there is anything wrong. That's not the discussion. That's not what I'm saying, that there's anything wrong with, the blending of culture. I think that's beautiful. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about when there's a self-hatred and when that leads to some insensitive, unkind, cruel decisions and actions. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about, people, having a preference or falling in love with. I dated somebody more than once, okay, out of my culture. Yes. So don't go there. And somebody's gonna say, well, don't be talking about you dates. Well, no, I did, and I loved it then. So it's not like that. It's not like that at all. But my dating someone, Caucasian, blonde hair, blue eyed person, I can tell you this is just for me. it would not have led to any cruel behaviors or decisions on an innocent life, because it's not fitting the blonde hair, blue eye, blended, mixed look that comes from having a child with him versus, you know, let's say we had gotten married and built a life, and had kids, and let's say, though this wouldn't happen because it's just not, let's say I cheated in a season. Hell, let's say we both cheated, but my cheating is the one, you know what I'm saying? Let's say we both cheated, but my cheating is the one where, you know, I get pregnant because, you know, I'm the girl. So, and let's say for whatever reason, either I couldn't or it was too late, whatever the case may be, to where it's like, okay, oh, lo and behold, you gonna have this baby, you gonna birth it, you gonna have this. Okay, now what you do after that, different story, but you are going. Okay, now that's the point that I'm trying to make, because let's say I cheated with someone fully melanated like myself, and my little perfect little setup that I got so far, according to Western, you know, culture, Hollywood, I have it set up right now that don't, you know, I got my, you know, my little marriage, my little success, my little happy family, but my little mixed kids. And then, you know, due to my slip up, you know, I get pregnant by a boxer. You know, fully melanated. And this child is, you know, they may come out light skinned, but it's it is not gonna stay light skinned, that bitch. You know, it's gonna be that she's gonna have it's gonna have it's gonna be chocolate. It's gonna have regular nigga hair. It's gonna have How are we gonna explain that? When the, you know, the daddy supposed to be white with blonde hair, blue eyes. Oops. There's no way. Humans are tested every day, failing miserably. Miserably. There's no way. I couldn't swallow it. I couldn't. Torture this kid. It's one thing to see, somebody's gonna say, well, what if they didn't? Okay, well, let's play with that then. Let's have some fun for the smarty pants in the universe. Well, you know, that's really up to them. If they didn't want to, okay, call into question. It's their decision. So what would you recommend in fairness to even the child? What would be something that you look at as humane? Remembering that that's a being That's a person, and that's a person that will grow up and have life. Okay? Their health. Now, let's go here. We got to go here. We perpetuate in mainstream technology and social media the importance of knowing your origins for so many reasons. So one can understand your own genetics, you know, your health, you know, what you're inclined to, and knowing who you are. We perpetuated Ancestry, 23andMe. It's pushed like this is a good thing. Everyone should be able to know their origins, what they're made of, why they are who they are, their genetics. So now answer the question. How do you suppose they're to address that? Humane choice would be a healthy adoption, or do their due diligence to ensure not to just throw them off to some poverty, mentally ill. Oh, Lord have mercy. A responsibility, especially in the cases of these are people who were, you know, obviously they had money and muscle or was connected to someone with money and muscle, or else they would not have been able to do what they did. The responsibility to, I may not want this child is not a part of my plan. This child does not fit the image that I need to perpetuate to America. This child is going to pose a problem for my marriage because I was cheating. This child is a liability. It's an innocent. But where are my maternal and paternal? See, there we go. There it is. There it is. There it is. Now we're cutting through the bullshit. Especially if you carry the term, then your ass, nigga, you carried the term. And these traumas, you know, these people, like I said, all this shit is usually imprinted onto the child. But they carried the term. Where was the due diligence? That's why I find it fascinating. This is why I'm not impressed by Hollywood. I love some of these actors and singers, you know, always have. But, you know, with grown-up eyes, this is why I don't swallow the images that we're given. I should say it this way. People want to clean up their messes and then go, you know, have these happy families, and it's like you just ain't did a whole, like you ain't like your ass really. For real? For real? Like you ain't a killer. Like y'all ain't killers and putting babies and come home. No due diligence. No parental say, it's our responsibility to not just find somebody. You didn't send this motherfucker to the retarded motherfuckers. Huh? You done sent them to some mentally ill motherfuckers. Criminally. Abusive narcissists. That's what you did. Sacrificing the child and their starseed, that's another story too. As if they didn't matter, huh? And then on TV and paparazzi, media, news, y'all out here grinning like you wonderful. Meanwhile, in some of y'all's cases, had people follow these illegitimate children. What, to make sure they never become nothing so that you don't have to worry about them messing up your image. Your legacy. Paying these people, offering them things in some cases. This shit happens. It happens. And then the way they hide all of this is even the very handlers outsource. This is the way they're able to keep this inconspicuous. But this is why a lot of us had so many fucking weirdos. I'm just gonna keep it on the wall. I'm just gonna say it. That we've had so much out of this world, weird, unwarranted, unjustifiable shit. Because there's a lot of people that's possibly around, some of us that actually know who we are. That's weird to me. I think that's weird. There's something wrong with that. Which makes me reflect on my culture, which is why I am calling my culture out. And I can do it because I am a part of my culture. I can do that. I can call bullshit. It's like, stop with your fake asses. I'm going to piss them off until I'm not here no more. And I'm going to still piss them off after that. Like, stop with your fake asses. You're all fake. We are the world. Oh, shit. We are the children. We are the ones to make a brighter day. So let's start giving. Really? There's a choice we're making. Are we? We're saving all our lives. Are we? It's true to make a better day. Just you and me. Really? Hmm. I wonder how much trails of blood follow some of you. Some of you covered these star seeds, and that was the sacrifice. You want their energy. While they suffer, disgusting. So to all of you people out there that you're okay with that, and worse, if you're still trying to cover up and damage control, shame on you. And the ancestors that are evolved, they spit on you because you're an embarrassment. The evolution of the African American culture and all of the things, the freedom fighters, y'all done shook hands. Some of you, because some of you old motherfuckers, you done shook hands. Like you standing for causes. You're a murderer. Identity thief. Outsourcing ain't gonna make your hands clean. Crazy making these individuals because it's inconvenient. That's the real tragedy. You. You're the tragedy. You people. While you're smiling in your mansions and yachts, you're the tragedy. You're no different than your slave master, nigga. You did not make proper use of the knowledge, the resources, and the opportunities that many died fighting for. You became your oppressor, period. And you ought to be shamed. You turned a blind eye, you lacked empathy, and tried to erase the existence. And then tried to steal as if you're not greedy enough. You're disgusting. You're worried about your image, and you think saying Black pride is going to make you woke? Black lives matter and shit while you do what you do in secret? You're a fraud. You're no different than your slave master. And who is your slave master? Hollywood. The elites. That's your slave master, honey. Who's your slave master? The ones that you're trying to schmooze with so you can get benefits. The ones that you're making dirty deals with for success. So let's try this one more time. Make good choices. Black Lives Matter. Black Girls Rock, Body Positive. You can take pictures at all the orphanages and all of the homeless shelters you wish. Still ain't shit. And you know why. You can give to all of the battered women's causes and survivors of domestic violence and the autism of America society. You ain't gonna get that blood off of you. The fact that some of you out there are actually actively participating and trying to intimidate and shut up these survivors, these starseed survivors that broke the record and broke the mold, is why your last days are going to be hell. The fact that many of you are trying to orchestrate a tragedy, an accident, is why some of you are going to be in them yourself. Disgusting. Trying to make something look like happenstance, isolating them all into the country, fucking weird ass cult. Something to the children of the corn and shit, and some country bumpkin ass town. Keep them isolated. Wrong. The fact that you did that, that's your end. You understand? This is how some of you are going to go. Because not only did you make a mistake, I made a mistake, I was young, I was immature, I was influenced by the wrong people, whatever the case is, you're old ass now, you're old motherfucker. You're old. So now what's the excuse? Judgment's already been called. The fact is why there's a domino effect of brewing. Sending all these weirdos and shit, contacting all these companies and doing all shit. You all are going to be dealt with now, by the way. Just so you know, including the people you hire. See, this is why I talk about, you know, people, everybody wants to be a teacher nowadays too, isn't it funny? Everybody wants to be a teacher, everybody wants to be a podcaster, everybody wants to speak words of wisdom, but hear me and hear me good. If you trash, you need to shut up. You just need to shut up. You want to be a coach of any sort, excuse me. You need to shut up. You see, it's the trending shit, isn't it? And see, look how wise I am. Look at this information, bitch. And see how I'm getting, see how, and you foul, you trash. Have you evolved, as you say? Have you applied any of the shit you pushing? Even an inkling of it? Make good choices. Are you making good choices at 1,000 years old? Or are you just trying to damage control your bad choices by doing another bad choice? Oh, I wonder what some of you say to your children. Your adult children, the ones you didn't throw in the trash. What do y'all say? What kind of example are you, really? Did you teach them how to be accountable, or did you teach them how to be a coward like you? Did you teach them how to heal and learn from and not try to erase, but to try to embrace or align and remedy and rectify when at all possible? Or are you teaching them to be sociopathic? Make good choices. You know, gotta pray. Really? Are you? Or you just teach them to go to church? That's what you do. You mean let them take a picture of us, see us at church, bitch. Look at us. We at church. Right, but you're still foul. Look at us, we spiritual. Look, we went to the retreat and shit. You see us under the tree, bitch. Look at us, we meditating, bitch. Right. Now. But what about them criminals, them bounty hunters? What about these covens and distorted witches and warlocks? You paying to do unmentionable things in which you all will pay for. Now, where's your sage bundle at? Now, go tell me something about Confucius, and tell me if Confucius told you to hire a bounty hunter to go and torture, put your illegitimate kid in a torture program, them and their kids, so that you ain't got to worry about your nasty ass being found out. Is that what Confucius said? When you went, Mama say, Mama san, Mama say, Mama say. Oh, is that the revelation when you went to the special place in the hills? Huh? When you went to the Mountain Springs retreat and you had on all linen and shit? Is that what the nigga said? That's what the bitch told you? Is that the revelation when you came out of deep meditation after taking ashwagandha, whatever the fuck, bitch, drinky drink for your ascension? Is that what you came out with, nigga? Let me flip it. When you went to the retreat for the 1,000th times, conference, and got baptized for the 2,000th time. When you fasted for 50 days and 50 nights to make it extra. Huh? When using your prayer closet with the anointments and the Shekinah glories. Is that what is that what came down from the heavens? In the form of smoke, and thus thou, a voice cameth, and said unto thee, do away with this peasant. Hire thus thou thee an army to go and killeth. Purge your sin, sparing none. So their sin being you fucked. Purgeth. Is that the revelation you got? Was that the message? Is that what was impressed upon thus thoueth hearteth? You came out the prayer closet and God told you? God of war. Ego, because that's what it really is. And the entities that rock like that. Many of you are going to suffer 1,000 times over. And I'm not talking about and you die and you're going to suffer. Nah, nope, wrong. I'm talking about why you're here. Scapegoating these individuals, the atrocities and the treasons and the tragedies that you all have already done, your original fall, compiled with every other violation in every now moment, which includes obstruction of justice, which includes not only omission, not only commission, but omission. Your minions and your pawns, of course, they're hit first, but you knew that. But you're next.